Hello everyone, and thank you very much for joining us today for this case study session with University Arts London. We're going to run through their implementation of the Associate Identity Management Suite. This is our third session of the day today, so hopefully you've managed to join us for the other two this morning. But if you haven't, absolutely no problem, don't worry about it at all. They've all been recorded and they'll be available to sort of watch at your leisure after the end of the day. So I suppose we just jump straight into it. A couple of intros to begin with. I'm Ben Miller, Senior Identity and Access Management Consultant at Turnkey. I've been with Turnkey for coming up for 5 years now, and my core focus over that time has been identity and access management in the higher education space. I'm very pleased to say that I'm joined today by Dave Everett from the University Arts London. So Dave, do you want to give yourself a quick intro?
Hi, I'm Dave Everett. I'm the Systems Manager Service for UAL, University of Arts London. I've been with the university for something like 13 years or more now, in various roles within the IT department. Currently, my key responsibilities are for the Windows and Linux server infrastructure, as well as the identity and access management piece.
Brilliant, and thank you very much for joining us today. If, as we go through the session today, you have any questions, just type them in the chat and we will have a go at answering them as best we can towards the end of the session. So let's just get straight into it and start by asking you, Dave, what were the challenges facing the university around management of associate identities when you first engaged with Turnkey?
Yeah, so here at UAL, we need to manage approximately 1,500 non-payroll staff, and they sit outside of the normal HR system that provides basically the authoritative source for staff account creation. And the tool we were using had grown from a simple affiliate management tool into essentially an identity management system with capabilities that overlap the Micro Focus IDM product. That added functionality also meant that the costs were escalating. So what we needed was a simpler solution that was more suited to our needs and actually saved us some money. The University of Arts London has been a long-time customer of Micro Focus identity and access management products, and we're not looking to move away from that.
Brilliant. And these associate identities, they're slightly more complicated to manage as a result of them being outside the HR system.
Yeah, so there's a variety of different cases, and they need various levels of access. Some as simple as just being able to have access cards, right through to having full network accounts with email, and they tend to be provisioned for reduced periods of time, maybe 3 months or 6 months, maybe 12 months. And they tend to be contractors and the like.
Yeah. So what were your options then in order to tackle this challenge?
So we're a bit stuck at the time. We weren't really sure what approach to take. It was clear that managing those 1,500 short-term accounts manually was not really an option, but it didn't justify the cost of the product we were using. Coincidentally, at the time, we were looking for a new support partner for our Micro Focus estate, and we had discussions with Turnkey as a prospective supplier. And we discussed the problem around our non-payroll staff with Turnkey, and they had talked to us about IAM.
And as AIM goes, does it sort of fit the solution that you were looking for? Does it tackle that challenge for you?
Yes, it does. And say as Turnkey were eventually appointed as our support partner, it seemed like a no-brainer to use the product. It ticked all the boxes for us. It predominantly appealed to us because it was built on IDM and looked to be very flexible and customizable to our requirements, as well as being very cost effective. So
what solution did you choose then? I know you said that you went with AIM, but in terms of the design of it and how that compared to the solution that you're using previously?
So with the previous solution, it was fairly rigid in parts. We couldn't quite get it to exactly what we wanted. One of the joys with the AIM product is the fact that it's so customizable and tailorable. It kind of just builds on the basic IDM and means we can essentially tweak it to our exact needs.
Excellent. So what does AIM look like at the University of Arts London?
So basically, it was kind of completely tailored to our requirements. We kind of, you know, decided what we wanted displayed, what we wanted to edit, and those kind of things. So essentially, it just was exactly how we wanted it.
Brilliant. So for those watching who are asking themselves, what is this AIM that they keep talking about? We've got some screenshots here just as examples of the tools that we put in at UAL. And for those of you who are familiar with micro-focus identity applications, you'll recognize the user application interface here on the left-hand side. AIM is effectively just a suite of workflows and the accompanying forms and processes in order to manage request and sort of, you know, manage those associates throughout the life cycle and their time at the university. We can see at UAL we've put in these 3 forms to manage, request and display the associates. An example of the request form can be shown there on the right hand side. The beauty of using the user application is from a licensing point of view, it's included in your licenses with the advanced edition for Identity Manager. And also we can tap into the sort of workflow functionality that comes inherently with that. Here we've put in 3 forms and the accompanying workflows for University of Arts London in order to manage and request their associates and to manage them throughout their life cycle at the university. We can see an example of the request form on the left-hand side there as well, where we've captured the information that UAL need as part of that process, as part of the request process for a new associate user, and we can use that information to, you know, populate attributes and throughout the workflow going forward. As we say, this is just an example, and another benefit of using the user application is how customizable it is. Dave's mentioned how we've customized their solution to their requirements, and that's a big part of why we want to use the microfocus tools themselves, because they come with so much flexibility. So Dave, what challenges did you face as part of the delivery of AIM?
I guess the biggest challenge we found was not trying to do everything anyone can imagine or request on day one. We are still fairly in. We're just sort of going live as we speak now. But what we try to do is start with the basic requirements to tick all the boxes and kind of do what we've done before, but that bit better. And we've basically tweaked it quite a lot. The look and feel is very much new. And we've kind of been doing an iterative process to go round and round and consulting the people who will have to use the product to make sure that what we give them basically does everything we need to do so they have a nice and easy and intuitive interface. And with the flexibility, we can continue to improve and add stuff to it as we go, and adding additional functionality as and when we identify needs.
Yeah, and you mentioned there that there's been a process of consulting the people who will be using this on a day-to-day basis. Do you think it's really important to identify who the sort of key stakeholders will be at the beginning of this process and make sure that we are involving them during the design and all the early stages of the implementation?
Yeah, I think so. So here at UAL, basically our service desk staff are the main users of the tool. And they regularly have to create new user accounts. So so as a team, the systems team that I manage, we don't tend to do that many user account creations. So we're not that worried about it. But the fact that we actually managed to consult and had somebody from the service desk working with us as we went through these things means that we've actually made it so it's a lot easier for them to use, and it isn't just based on the technicalities, it's actually based on usability as well. And so we spent a fair bit of time on going round and round, you know, just tweaking stuff. But I think we're now at a place where we've got something that's really spot on.
So what benefits do you see the university gaining at the moment and going forward as a consequence of putting AIM in?
I guess it's early days yet, and as I have to say, being a university, the fact that it's a really cost-effective solution is critical for us. But one of the coincidentals is the fact we have never used the user app before, and the fact we've now got the user app kind of has given us a few ideas for some of those self-service tasks that we might be able to use that. Another advantage is, of course, is that because it's basically built on IDM, we're no longer dependent on a supplier. I say, if we were ever to decide to move away from Turnkey, obviously we're not intended to do that quite yet, the product will still work. So we wouldn't get any of the enhancements, but the issue we had with the product we were using before is as soon as we didn't want it anymore, they removed our access, so we were actually left with no tool to do the job.
Yeah, and absolutely, that's an important point to make there as well. I think this tool and one of the benefits of it is that it's just ultimately configuring your user application system. When and if the engagement with Turnkey ends, these are forms and workflows that remain within your system and don't go away with us. We don't own them; they're absolutely owned by you, the university. So Dave, that's all for our questions. Thank you very much for joining us today. If there are any other questions from the audience that have been typed into the chat, we'll go through them now and we'll do our best to answer them now. So thank you very much, Dave, and thanks everybody for watching.
Thank you.